Hello YouTube, this is Crosscheck and welcome once again to another very exciting video. First of all, I wish you the very best in this new year, 2020. I hope this year is full of achievements for you. This is indeed going to be a very awesome year. This is the year when the new Microsoft Flight Simulator will be released. Speaking about the new Microsoft Flight Simulator, the development team surprised us yesterday by uploading a really interesting video. Now, of course, by this time you must have read the title of this video, so you may be expecting something regarding seasons. Well, you are in for a treat. The video is really short, only about a minute long. Let's watch that video, and after that, let's try to break it down and see what's going on in there. Alright. Oh boy. Yeah, the first time I saw this, my jaw dropped all the way down to the floor. Seasons in a flight simulator is something that has really not been achieved the way we expect it to be achieved. I think the one which is closest to it is DCS at the time being, and to be completely fair to them, it's nice, but it's nowhere near what I think is what we saw here. Okay, let's jump back into the video. Okay, so this one is really interesting. It does appear to me that we are in-game. It's basically a time lapse where winter comes along quite quickly. I failed to see in the transition something that looked autumn-like, but I don't think it's what the developer team was trying to show here. It was just trying to show that they have the same scenery without snow and with snow. So this basically just seems to be a time lapse when they have snow at 0% and then they go all the way up to 100% of snow. As we are now accustomed to, the clouds look absolutely brilliant. The fog being moved around by the wind in a super realistic manner, and how everything starts getting covered with snow. I think it is absolutely fantastic. Some areas, some trees, some buildings seem to be affected more by the snow early on the simulation. It is a little bit strange, but at the same time, well, it is absolutely fantastic. I mean, I'm just being a little picky there, but all in all, it is great. Now in this image over here, we can see there are some trees which are not covered in snow. Others are. The ones I see covered in snow, they are really covered in snow, and the ones that aren't, they aren't at all. But to be honest, I think it still looks absolutely fantastic. I am guessing that in this picture in particular, the snow is not all the way to 100%. That is why we have still a lot of green to be seen. All of the rooftops seem to be covered in snow, but some of them not as much as others. I think this looks very convincing. I'm just mind blown. This is absolutely crazy. I am not sure how it looks from up close, Obviously, with such a big world and so many things going on, the closer you get, the more you're gonna be able to see the things going on. But from this point of view, it does look absolutely fantastic. I can kind of see thickness in the snow on the rooftops. This shot is pretty amazing because you can see the city, and after that you can see some mountains on the back, and it just looks absolutely fantastic. And if I'm not mistaken, we can see the moon on the top right, which also it looks pretty good. Okay, now checking out this picture, same thing, all the rooftops are covered in snow, but now regarding the trees, I do not see green trees. So I'm assuming this is kind of the 100% snow level. There is a lot of snow. And this building over here, the one on the bottom left, it's really interesting how the snow has covered the building. I am really interested to learn the technology that is being implemented in order to deploy the snow in a realistic manner. The street over here on the bottom right, it looks pretty good. It does seem like the snow has been plowed out of the street. Let's see if we can see if there are streets that are completely covered in snow. As always, it looks mind-boggling good. But as far as I can tell, the river is not frozen, and under these circumstances, I would imagine that the river would freeze, or at least partially, depending on the strength of the current. But now if we ignore the current, we can see on the right of the image what seems to be a lake, and as far as I can see, that one is not frozen as well. So maybe we should not expect frozen lakes or frozen rivers and stuff like that. But it would be really interesting. But as far as I can tell, there are no frozen lakes. Now, something really interesting. I would imagine this is 100% snow, but on the right and on the top right, we can see a lot of trees that do not have snow. So I am not sure what is going on there. Maybe, just maybe, it is simulated that when it is really windy, the snow falls from the trees, falls off the trees, and you just end up with all of the snow in the ground. I'm not sure. But even though I find that a little bizarre, I still think it looks absolutely fantastic. Now, regarding the streets, they are really interesting. As far as I can tell, they seem to be covered in snow, and some of them kind of have some snow washed away. You can see a little bit of the street, but it's not, it has opacity levels throughout the street. So I think that is really interesting. From here it looks brilliant. I also do see a couple of streets that look pretty clean. It would be really interesting to see if they will simulate like the main roads looking cleaner than the least used roads, right? Okay, let's keep pushing forward, see what else we can pick up. Okay, now this river and these lakes, they do give me an impression of being frozen just a little bit, like on the outsides. Not completely, but it does quite give the impression. I am not sure what is going on here. And over here we can see that everything is covered in snow. There are no trees that are not covered in snow. And as always, of course, it just looks, it looks insane. Even looking at the crops and all of that, it is pretty insane. I am not sure what technology they are utilizing to do this. I don't know if these are just Bing map images of winter in these places and they just kind of switch over the textures, or if there is some crazy voodoo magic going on. I'm just not sure. It may be the case that these are Bing map images of winter. So maybe that's why the lakes and the rivers don't really look frozen, because the correct shader for frozen water is not there. I am not sure. But yeah, again, I'm just being really picky. I'm trying to understand what is going on here. to the fullest detail. There is something about this scene that just blows my mind. It looks so good. Okay, and this one is pretty insane. This is clearly completely and absolutely covered in snow. It looks incredible. And we can kind of see something really interesting because we have some streets contrasting others quite a bit. The main road or the highway is completely clean. A little bit too clean for my taste, I would say. But then the streets of the town or whatever is going on there, they do vary on how visible they are, which I think is really good, of course. But yeah, this highway does look a little bit out of place, like it is way too clean. I mean, I would expect it to be much cleaner than all of the other roads in this image, but it looks just a little bit too perfect. Now, watching the mountains, they look good, but I think they look a little bit too smooth. I mean, I would expect a little bit more detail on those, but still, amazing work. Now we can see an airport. We can see that the airport is, well, it has a lot of snow. That looks pretty crazy. I'm really interested to see if the landing will feel icy. If you can feel like the aircraft slipping away. I really hope that is the case. I think it's gonna be brilliant. And this is just crazy. Amazing level of detail. Now this doesn't look like it's 100% snow. There is a lot of black patches all around. And again, the lake, I don't see it being frozen or anything like that. Now these mountains, they do have some beautiful detail. The roads actually seem to be covered in snow. The illumination in the roads and on the streets, they look good. In some areas they look a little bit funky, but it's not something that worries me, to be honest. I still think this looks absolutely insane. And now we are on the wing of an airliner. Oh, this makes me so happy. It looks it just looks so good. I really don't have much to say here. I can stare at this image for hours with a big smile on my face. It is beautiful. This simulator is shaping up to be absolutely insane. What a way to start the year, guys. Insane. Something really interesting is I think they captured really well how to make a scene feel cold. Not just because you see snow. The colors, the gradients, it is absolutely brilliant. This image, it just feels so freaking cold and epic. Oh boy, this is doing things right. Good job. Good job, you guys. Good job. On this one, I would say the snow is kind of what, 50%, 60%, something like that. We got still a little bit of green that we can see. We got a lot of snow as well. And the river, as far as I can see, it is not frozen. I can kind of see some texture of the waves, the ripples, but still looking pretty great. And yeah, that was pretty much it. So now the big elephant in the room. Did they state officially that we are going to be having seasons? No, they did not. Is it kind of speculation? Well, yes, because it is not a statement from them. But being realistic, can we expect seasons on the release of Flight Simulator? I would say yeah. I would say yeah. I don't think they would tease us with something like this if we wouldn't be expecting seasons on this simulator. Now, I am just speculating again. I don't think it is quite finished yet. It seems they have been working with the snow because it is the biggest contrast regarding seasons. During seasons, there are a lot of changes and it varies quite a bit. So I am sure there is a lot of more work that needs to be done. As I mentioned on the beginning of the video, I didn't see like the transition into autumn, so I don't think that is ready just yet, but I do have big expectations and great hopes and a lot of faith in this simulator, so I think we're gonna be getting something really special regarding seasons. Anyway, that was pretty much from me. Thank you very much for sticking around. It is always a pleasure just to have you guys taking the time to watch